Bring Her Back is directed by the Philippou brothers, who last did Talk to Me, and yes, I am in a new background. I'll talk to you about that in just a second. Here, a brother and sister uncover a terrifying ritual at the secluded home of their new foster mother. So when my kids were born, I rented this office because they were newborns and there was no way to control the sound. But they're getting older now, and I know when I can film, and I don't really need the office anymore. So I wanted to build a new background in a place that I had much more control over than some corporate office that I had to rent. So I kind of wanted to mash up my Halloween special background and my more traditional background that I usually film in. So we've got VHS over here, all different kinds, some of my favorite movies that aren't necessarily some favorites, but I still kind of love them anyway, and then Blu-ray over here. And so it's kind of like a mashup of both of my favorite things with some original signage from Family Video. Rest in peace. Hope you guys like it. It's still a bit of a work in progress. Haven't quite figured out the lighting yet. There is still a bit of an echo in here that I'm still gonna mess around with. Hopefully it doesn't really affect the video too much. But over the next few weeks, you'll see this start to come together a little bit better. So apologize if there's any loose ends. We're going to figure it out. Let's talk about Bring Her Back. So I really like Talk to Me, and obviously I interviewed Danny Philippou, and he was such a cool guy, and I genuinely think they're incredibly talented. But Bring Her Back is truly even better in every way. Sally Hawkins is magnificent here. She is so utterly terrifying in a role that mostly requires her to be fairly lighthearted and giddy and lovable. Like, if you look at Paddington's mom in the Paddington movies and imagine what if she was doing some nefarious stuff in the background, it is that facade that she puts on of being genuinely very happy. And it is that fun-loving nature that she presents to everyone else that makes it feel so unnerving. But truthfully, all of the performers are fantastic. Billy Barratt as Andy, as well as Sora Wong as Piper, especially Jonah Wren Phillips, whose shoulders this entire film's marketing campaign rests upon. This boy is so unnerving in this film, and mostly entirely silent. There is some serious makeup application that's going on. The makeup is phenomenal. There are a few scares involving this kid that I actually had to look away from, one of them involving a knife. The film also has a very difficult balance of having to figure out exposition in a way that explains to us what exactly Sally Hawkins is trying to do with this kid and why the rules that she has to follow and win by essentially having this VHS tape that she will play from time to time, reminding her exactly what she has to do, simultaneously informing us of what she has to do. And it's a very clean way to deliver that exposition without it feeling heavy-handed. And still, there were things that I didn't quite know exactly what was going on, because there are a lot of things that are kept back from us as well. Sometimes you are left wondering, like, exactly what the goal was in a certain scene, or why a person is doing something. Is it just for the purpose of a scare, or is there something deeper behind it? And because the Philippou brothers clearly thought out this to such an extreme extent, I don't imagine that really anything in this movie is frivolous. It feels like they really have put a lot of thought into everything. Something I've noticed lately in regards to discussion around the horror genre is that people are noticing that grief and trauma tend to play a major part in horror films. And there's some folks who are saying it's being overused, and they're not really presenting another option of how to make a horror film without exploring trauma. Because what essentially is trauma? It's something that happened to us, that has scared us, that has made us afraid to be alive, or afraid to be sociable, or afraid to go out into the ocean, or afraid to go into the shower. That's what horror is. It's always been that. If there's an obsession with it, I just think it's because it's become a talking point and people are noticing it more and people are analyzing the genre more effectively now. And I also think there's a lot of people that just talk about movies that maybe haven't seen that many movies yet. And that's okay. But I just think that it's strange that this idea of like horror is not allowed to be something. I push back heavily against anybody who says that an artist can't tell a story the way they want to tell it. And in the case of this movie and Talk to Me, obviously grief plays a major role in both of them. And I think that it's handled far more effectively here. Even though I enjoyed Talk to Me, I think this is a far better film, and that it explores how grief can change someone into a person they never thought they would be. Everybody else can look at a person and be like, well, I've known them for a really long time. They would never do anything like that. Sally Hawkins is just so phenomenal in this movie because she does still have to put on a happy face for other people. Well, when she goes back home and she's trying to do this ritual, you get to see the real her, and that version of herself is terrifying. A word of warning, though, I will say, this film has a surprising amount of children in peril. I expected some of that, but not to the extent that we see certain things happen in really clear, wide shots. And I only say that because we live in a world now where we are often warned of things that are in films before we see them, sometimes even to a spoilerific nature. I'll turn on Netflix and something in the top about the parental warnings will spoil something that is to come. And that can get on my nerves sometimes, but as a parent, I did find certain aspects in this movie difficult to watch. And I did come home and give both of my kids a massive hug because I was just happy to see their smiling faces. So the movie definitely had an impact on me. But yeah, if you're a parent, if you've got young kids around, it's a tough watch sometimes. But there's no doubt in my mind this is a fantastic movie, and this just reaffirms that the Philippou brothers know how to make a damn good film. I thought it was great. Definitely check this one out in theaters when you get a chance. I'll be seeing it again one day when I am less traumatized by it. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.